What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Tuesday to you. And we're talking a little bit of college football in this segment. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. College football fans have to say that New Year's Day, those two national semifinal games were on point, and I would say that myself. Let's talk about the first game. Number one ranked Michigan versus number 4 Bama in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Very much anticipated. This game went back and forth, and actually ended up in overtime, where number 1 Michigan would get the win 27-20 over Bama. Michigan's defense, in my opinion, should have been the MVP of the Rose Bowl because they harassed Bama's quarterback Jalen Milroe the whole game. They sacked him 5 times in the first half, 1 time in the second, and Bama's offense just sputtered all night. But hats off to Jim Harbaugh and his Michigan Wolverines team. They finally got over the hump. They will be in the national championship game to face number 2 ranked Washington. It went down in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl. Number 2 ranked again Washington, number 3 ranked Texas, and this game was just as exciting. It was a little bit more offensive firepower than the previous game between Michigan and Alabama, and Washington comes out on top 37-31. Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. had an outstanding performance. He was 29 for 38, 430 yards, 2 TDs. Wide receiver Rome Odunze, he had 6 receptions for 125 yards, and wide receiver Jalen Pope caught 5 balls for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. Now for Texas, quarterback Quinn Ewers, was this his last game as a Longhorn? We don't know, but if it was, he went out with a solid performance, 24-43, 318 yards, 1 touchdown. Wide receiver Jatavian Sanders caught 6 balls for 675 yards, and wide receiver Jordan Whittington, 6 receptions for 75 yards. Total yards in this game, Washington 532, Texas 498. Actually, Washington won the time of possession. They held the ball for over 36 minutes. But this was a great game. But Texas had a chance. They had a shot to win this thing last play. But Quinn Ewers, his pass was just a little bit off target. And again, Washington moves on to the national championship game. So it's all set. Number 1 versus number 2, Michigan and Washington next Monday night. So we'll be ready to check that out. Now let's move to the HBCU world. Legendary Florida A&M head coach Willie Simmons shocked the world. It shocked me. He's leaving FAMU after 6 seasons. He's headed to Duke to be the running backs position coach under Manny Diaz, who was just named the Duke new head football coach a couple of weeks ago. Now, those two do have a relationship. They worked together at Middle Tennessee State some years ago. So I can't believe, I was kind of in shock that Willie Simmons would leave FAMU, but he's leaving with a heck of a record. 45-13 in 6 seasons there. He was 12-1 this season. They won the Celebration Bowl championship as well, which is the mythical black college football national championship. Overall, as a coach, Willie Simmons is 66-24, and he's been successful. His first head coaching job was at Prairie View A&M, actually, where he did a heck of a job. He was there for 3 seasons, I believe, and he had a 21-11 record there. So I just to leave from being a head man to now being a position coach, it baffles me. But from what I was reading, Coach Simmons wants to be a head coach at the I guess at the D1 FBS level. He hasn't had that opportunity, and this is back to the HBCU in football. I just think we got a lot of great programs at HBCU level, but for a lot of these schools, they don't have the money to keep good coaches. Let's go and just be real about it. They don't have the resources that can keep. I think Coach Simmons, Florida A&M offered them and was as much money as they could, was giving them, incentives. I think like a little bit over $300,000 a season he would make if he would have stayed on with some incentives for him and his coaches. But again, when you think about that, that's at the head coaching level. That's not a lot of money. But this just shows you why I believe that the HBCU will always have issues because it's not a level playing field as far as, again, resources. How can we get the resources at these schools? Well, you know, the federal government. I know that when former President Donald Jerome Trump was in the White House, he met with a lot of these HBCU presidents for a photo op about, you know, giving them more resources. But I don't think anything came of that. But so now, you know, here where we stand, you know, Coach Prime took the job at Jackson State, obviously, to get his foot in the door. Let's go and be real about it. A lot of coaches will go take the HBCU jobs just to get their foot in the door, and then hopefully, you know, they get the experience, and then a bigger opportunity will come their way. But why can't HBCU? How come we can't equip them with the resources to make these stops a good stop, and for coaches to stay there? Give them the resources they need. Pay their assistants. Give them the facilities that they can attract 5-star and 4-star athletes to come. You know, I think Coach Prime had something good going there. I did not want to see him leave, but I understood the reasoning. I didn't want to see Coach Simmons leave FAMU, but I get it. I didn't get him leaving to being a head coach to be a positions coach, but I guess sometimes you gotta, the way to becoming a head coach at the FBS level, you have to take whatever opportunity presents itself. So again, I want to see the HBCU programs athletics win, and I don't know what we can do to help them, to help these schools with resources. I know a lot of the alumni give back to their universities. I do know that, but can we get some of our big money entertainers, big money athletes to come together and create coalitions to help with the resources at a lot of these HBCU schools? We got a lot of great schools, man. You know, again, FAMU. We got, you know, you got the Alabama States. You got the Southerns, Texas. Speaking of Southern, Texas Southern, they are in a bind. They looking for a head coach as well. Supposedly Fred McNair, who was at Alcorn State, was the guy that they want, but somehow the board they tiptoeing and him-hawing around. And now some reports are saying they want Andre Johnson, the former Houston Texan wide receiver, to be their new guy who has no coaching experience. You know, Fred McNair was at Alcorn State and did a great job there. So Texas Southern now is in the limbo. So again, just the HBCU levels football programs as well as the other athletic programs in HBCUs. I wish we could get them the resources and put them in a position to where coaches will stay, where these jobs are attractive and will keep good coaches. And instead of making it somewhat like a minor league system where coaches will come in and get a couple of years in and then they headed out. But it's all about, you know, the thing is about opportunities. So again, Willie Simmons, legendary FAMU coach, he's decided to step down as the head coach at FAMU, resign, and will be the running backs position coach at Duke under his former colleague Manny Diaz. I'd like to know what you guys think about Coach Simmons leaving FAMU. Some of you Rattlers out there, I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Leave a comment, and what you think of what can we do to make HBCU universities, their coaches, make it attractive to keep good coaches and assistant coaches as well. So I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Make sure you drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channels. I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.